This week I have been busy going through my seed box, specifically looking for older seeds that I bought over the last few years and never grew. There's a whole bunch that I didn't even remember what they looked like, so I'm sure I got swept in by beautiful pictures on the seed companies because we've all done that. But I'm determined to try to grow most of these this year. But I think as a gardener or grower, it's really important to be trying new things. You never know, you might find some really good gems, and at the very least, if you fail, which is always part of the process, you might learn what not to do or what to do better next year, or you might learn that that particular thing just isn't going to work in your climate or growing conditions. Either way, it is always worth a try. That's part of the fun. So I've saved some pictures and I have a list here in front of me to keep me on track. And I'm going to talk you through these 11, I believe, seeds that I have never grown before, and a few that I've tried a little bit and failed miserably that I'm determined to try again. And a lot of these are cut flowers, but there's a few other surprises tossed in there as well. And the first one is Ami. Ami, or Dara, or Daucus carota. Yes, this is a really popular filler in cut flowers. It's really similar to a parsley flower or dill. Parsley and cilantro specifically I have used as bouquet filler in the past because I grow a ton of herbs. If you've been here for a while, you know that I was an herb grower before I was a cut flower grower. And I still grow herbs in fairly large quantities, but the reason I wanted to try Dara this year was for the difference in color. Parsley, dill, and cilantro, when they do bolt and start to flower, they're mostly in the light green to white, but Dara ranges from light pink to a darker, almost burgundy brown. And I'm pretty sure it's fairly cold tolerant too, so I should be able to direct sow that fairly soon outside and not have to worry about transplanting seedlings, which is always good when you have limited grow space. So I'm really excited to try that one this year. And number 2 on the list, oh yes, Craspedia, Sunball Craspedia. The Craspedia has been on my list for the last 2 years, but it was always sold out when I looked. I'm pretty sure that's why I didn't grow it before. So I made sure to add that to my list in October, November when I made my fall seed order from Johnny's. Craspedia is supposed to be a really amazing dried flower. You get this globe of tiny little flowers similar to an allium, but it's supposed to dry really, really well. And you can use it fresh also. So I don't know much about it other than that. I still need to do reading about when to start it, but I bought 2 packets, so I have lots of seed to play with, and I'm so excited to finally be able to try that one this year. Next is a white mignonette, and I got this seed from Floret. I think this was an impulse buy actually when I was looking at a few other things. Feathery white spikes of flowers. I'm assuming this is an annual because it says to sow every 2 weeks for continual harvest. But it does say 2 to 3 feet tall, which is fairly significant, and it lists a vase life for both fresh flowers and for the seed pods. So I only saved a picture of the flowers, but apparently the seed pods look really nice too, so I'll make sure I try out both of those things. Now I'm going to give you the best one next because this is something that I've been working on for years. And when I say working on, I mean a couple of years of reading about it. And then last year I actually did try to grow the Meconopsis blue Himalayan poppy. I've heard this referred to as the gardener's white whale, and most commercial growers will not grow these to transplants to sell to nurseries because they're just too difficult. So I did manage to sprout a half a dozen last year. I had, I think, 2 that survived to about an inch and a half tall, and then was really obvious they needed to be transplanted. And so I popped them out of their cell trays and put them into larger fiber pots to grow on before planting in the garden, and at that point they withered away and died. So that was really sad, and I know that they hate having their roots disturbed, so I assume that was enough. But they were looking pretty healthy up until that point, so I'm determined to try again. So last week I found a grower in the UK, and they did ship to Canada. Hopefully the seeds will get here. I actually bought 3 different varieties. I need my list. I bought the Meconopsis Linghome. I bought 2 packs, and I did not know until I got my email confirmation that I got a free one to go along with that, so that's a bonus. This is the typical one that you see with the big, big blue, bright blue flowers. And that is what is special with this plant, is real, true blue flowers. So I also got the Meconopsis baileyii, and these flowers look identical, but I think I remember the description saying they were slightly smaller. And then I also got Meconopsis grandis burgundy, which is purple. So I don't know if the difficulty of all three of these varieties is similar, but I'd be happy with any one of them. So 2 of these varieties, I bought 2 packets each and ended up getting a free one, which was a surprise. And then one of them, I only bought 1 pack. Had I known, I would have bought a second pack of that one too, and ended up with 9 in total. But 3, 6, 7, I have 7 packets of different types of Meconopsis Himalayan poppies, hopefully coming my way from the UK, and I will definitely be filming every step of that. So wish me luck. The next one is also from Floret, and this is, it looks like it's pronounced Schizanthus, but better known as Angel's Wings, and Poor Man's Orchid is what it's listed at on Floret. So I don't remember buying this one at all, but it looks quite nice. I'm going to give it a try. It looks like it'll be a really nice bouquet filler, delicate little flowers. The flowers are a little bit, they almost have a bit of a busy look, which I don't usually tend to go for, but I'm going to give them a try anyway. Turning the page. Oh, okay, so the next one is called Zulu Warrior. I think I bought these 2 years ago. This is a really interesting one because the lilac lavender color of these flowers are just gorgeous, especially with the dark purple in the center. These are supposedly hardy to zone 6, so I should be able to get these to perennialize and then put them in my permanent borders, which is really exciting. They're apparently a superb cut flower. I don't remember the height, but if it says superb cut flower, then I assume that they're tall enough to cut. And I believe they have nice seed pods as well. So with typical perennials, I don't know if it's going to flower the first year. So I'm going to start these later in the season, plant them out in late summer, and then plan to get flowers next year. And that's always a good idea with perennials, because if you can get the plants nice and strong going into winter, then you'll always get a much stronger flush of flowers the next year, rather than trying to start it really early and getting it to flower in its first year. The next one is the Black Eye Susan vine. So this one is just as an ornamental. I do like to plant things that can climb up, a little structure made out of bamboo poles. So these are just nice little orange flowers. They don't look exactly like the Black-Eyed Susan, but the coloring is the same. So I assume that that's where it gets its name. So I'm going to plant that just as a decorative annual, and also the Gazania. The Gazania I think I bought these to sell as annual transplants last year, and I just ran out of seedling space. So I may do that to sell at the farmer's market, but as I am not doing a big seedling sale this year, I might just grow a few to give out to my garden club members, or even to plant in my own bed as annuals. So I'm going to grow those, but I don't know how many of them I'm going to grow. What do we have next? Only one? No, we have 3 left. The last ornamental is Lunaria. Lunaria is really interesting, and I don't think I'm going to get it to flower the first year. It is a biennial, which means that the plant will grow the first year, and then the next year it will flower and then die and set seed for the following year. You've probably heard them called silver dollar. When they're ready to pick, they're all dried up, but the little seed casings are flat and round, and you have to rub them to get the outside casing off. But that casing holds the seeds, so when you take the casing off, the seeds are going to fall. And then you're just left with beautiful decorative inside bit, for lack of a better term. And I meant to plant some last year and never got around to it. This should be something that I can put on the edge of the property and just let it go and seed itself, hopefully. But I'm going to start some early just to see if I can get flowers this year, and then I'm going to start some in midsummer, same as the Zulu Warrior, the perennials, and I'm going to plant them out in late summer, early fall to overwinter, and make sure that I have some for next year. So we are down to 1 herb and 1 vegetable, and the herb is cumin, and I did start some of these last year, but I started them way too early, and I think they just got forgotten about and dried up somewhere. But they do better direct seeded, and they need a really long hot growing season. So I'm going to start a few of these in soil blocks in late spring and put them into the ground in the greenhouse, as long as I have some room left in there. It's a really nice little decorative plant. Of course, cumin is a spice that we all know pretty well. It's really common in curries. really aromatic. I actually like a tiny pinch of it in scrambled eggs sometimes. It's really versatile. And the plant itself is fairly low growing, I think around 8 inches tall, and the little white lacy flowers look a lot like miniature versions of cilantro flowers, flowering cilantro. So I'm determined to get that right as long as my seeds are still viable. I think I've had that seed pack for 2 years. And the last one, it is gherkins. I always make a ton of pickles, and I don't know, I've just sort of lost the taste for dill pickles over the last couple of years. I still have, I think, 12 jars in the basement, and nobody's opened them in months. So some of those may go to waste, but I really, really love sweet gherkins. So I'm gonna try to grow some of those just to make my own sweet gherkins this year. So I'm really excited about some of those new things, especially the Meconopsis, the blue Himalayan poppy. I've been dreaming about growing that for years. Of course, it's probably the most difficult thing, which is probably why I want to grow it so bad. Stubborn. So I'll keep you up to date as I do my seed starting, and hopefully we'll get to see some of these things bloom later on in the season. But that is it for today. I'm headed into town next. I'm gonna go meet my husband for coffee, and then back here to get the kids off the bus, and 3 to 4 hours of piano lessons. And if I have any energy left, I will be starting some more soil blocks. So thanks so much for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time. Take 2, because take 1 I talked for 9 minutes before realizing that my mic wasn't turned on. Every time.